All right, now we're going to see how we can implement the KNN methodology for classification purposes. Specifically, we're going to use a very classic example, which is called the iris dataset in machine learning. What is this dataset? This dataset is going to present a set of observations from iris. This is a special kind of plant and has multiple types, multiple categories, or multiple classes. So you have Virginica iris, you have Setosa iris, and you have versicolor iris. And for the purpose of this example, just imagine that these are the only existing three categories or three types of iris out there, right? There's no other irises out there. These are observations from, say a person who went and collected very different samples. And for each of those observations, not only we have the classification, but we also have the features. And the features summarize the length and the width of the two parts of the flower, which are the sepal and petal, right? So, for example, the first row in the data set is going to present the width and the length of petal and sepal, and it also is going to say which of the categories of iris that particular observation belongs to, right? So you can have hundreds of observations. For each of the observations, you're going to have a different width and a different width for sepal and petal and a different classification, right? Now, the task that we have is to use the KNN methodology in order to classify these observations and say, all right, based on these features, which type of sepal a particular observation would belong to, right? So basically, we are going to label new data points based on what we have learned in the data set that we already have. So the very first thing that you have to do is to go to Kaggle and search for iris species. And this is a very famous data set. You can just download it. And before you can do that, you have to register, and you can do it with one click using your Google account and download this iris data set, which I'm going to do right now. And you better put it in the same folder where you're going to store your Python code. In my case, this is going to be in this particular folder. So you do it in the same way, and it's a zipped file, so you have to extract it in the same folder which I just did. So again, this is my folder, and this is a CSV file that contains all the observations in this particular dataset. In the next video, we are going to use Python in order to work with this dataset.